I am Jason Klom. I'm the host of the Comedy on Vinyl podcast. All of 2017, I'm listening to a comedy album a day. If you're watching this on Instagram, you can find the rest of this at youtube.com/comedyonvinyl. I keep treating these little intros like you wouldn't have already seen these before because, you clicked on it, so you know what I'm doing. But today I've decided to pick 1976's Derek and Clive Live by Peter Cook and Dudley Moore. If you don't know Derek and Clive, well, be prepared. I've used some language in these past ones. You can't really talk about Derek and Clive without using additional language. I'm on apparently an English kick. This stood out to me because I've heard Derek and Clive before, but never a full album. So this was fun. This is an interesting mix, though. It's not just these characters. I do not know if the other albums are the same, so apologies for not knowing that. But it's primarily primarily Derek and Clive on the first half. A couple bits that are not, like some songs, because of course Dudley Moore's on there, he's going to perform. And then the second half is more sketches that are all live. This was all recorded in 1973. Again, some of it in studio and some of it live. It's, again, if you have sensitive ears, it's one thing, but it's harmless filth, and I really, really enjoy. There's an entire sketch that is just based off of them saying fucking cunt over and over again. Not just apropos of nothing, but it's part of a discussion, but it's also an excuse to say that over and over again. Clearly improvised. I don't know if they did these legitimately drunk, but clearly improvised stuff. And fantastic at yes-anding to the point where it gets absurd very quickly. Very quickly. It's the kind of thing that if you listen to podcasts and you like podcasts like Comedy Bang Bang and such, or Super Ego, it's the same kind of just severe yes-anding and throwing people under the bus that doesn't turn out to be throwing one under the bus, but it becomes very surreal very quick. The first piece on here is one of them talking about the worst job he ever had, which is a thing they do, and his job is pulling lobsters out of Jane Mansfield's ass. That is the whole bit. That's it, and it gets more and more insane as it goes. One of the bits that I wasn't sure where it was going at first, on side 2 is Bo Dudley, and it is Dudley Moore doing very bad blues, very bad just black music at the time. And he's a very good musician, but it's very exaggerated, and I did not know where it was going, but it essentially becomes two English guys trying to break down boogie woogie, as they call it, and really just ruining it even further. And it's a really solid bit. And again, you can tell at least some of it is improvised. It's really brilliant. This is a fun album. I'm assuming people watching this are not young enough, or are not so young that they can't listen to most of these albums. This is definitely not one you play with the kids in the room if you care if they hear these kinds of words. I grew up with this kind of stuff, so it really wouldn't have mattered. Yeah, it's just so much fun to listen to two friends crack each other up. There are a few sketches where they even leave, especially at one point, just Dudley Moore screaming laughter. That's what's fun about this, is the energy of listening to these two guys improvise together. The songs are very strange, but still funny. Dudley Moore's doing them in character. They don't just do Derek and Clive, who are, two working class guys. They've got a couple posh guys that they do, and just they mix it up. And again, it's a very weird mix in terms of like live versus studio. I'm not sure why. The studio stuff I prefer, although again, the Bo Dudley thing is live. But it is, to me, more fun when they're intimate and just sitting there and riffing. And it doesn't seem to matter how dumb it gets. It just seems to get funnier and funnier. It can get repetitive, but again, that's also part of the humor. So again, 1976, Derek and Clive Live. This is the cover. This is not a special one. This is just the cover. Very plain. It says on the back, "Warning, this record contains language of an explicit nature that may be offensive and should not be played in the presence of minors." That's the warning on the back. Check it out. It's a ton of fun. I'm assuming you can get it on CD. I don't check those things out. I just listen to the albums, do a little bit of research if I need to, if I'm not already a giant fan of those people. If you would, follow at Comedy on Vinyl everywhere you can. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Give us a nice rating. We could use some of those. That would be fantastic. Go to stolendress.com for other podcasts. If you share this, hashtag it Comedy Album a Day. And since tomorrow is a critical day in the history of the United States. I'm going to be reviewing, just as a heads up, somebody who ran for president in 1968, if I'm not mistaken. I could have the year wrong, but I'm fairly certain it was 1968. Fictional, semi-fictional run for the presidency, something I'm very familiar with. I think you'll enjoy that one, and I'm looking very forward to listening to it. That's it. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, have a good thing.